There was a record-breaking turnout at No Canes rallies across the country this weekend, marking the largest single-day protest in American history. More than 8 million people took to the streets in over 3,000 separate demonstrations in all 50 states and most U.S. territories. The protests were aimed at opposing President Trump and his administration. St. Paul, Minnesota hosted the flagship rally, where it's estimated well over 100,000 people showed up. Notable speakers included Tim Walz, Bernie Sanders, Bruce Springsteen, and Jane Fonda. And here in Iowa, more than 1,000 people attended the No Canes rally right here in Des Moines.
Yeah, it started over at the Papa John's Sculpture Park, and then the demonstrators marched over to the state capitol. Protesters spoke out against the Trump administration on a wide range of issues. The biggest concerns being the war in Iran, ISIS crackdown throughout the country, and civil rights for LGBTQ individuals. The speakers ranged from local union leaders to vocal performers.
Gathered today for one message and one message alone, and that is that people matter. Their voices matter. Our future matters.
The next protest is scheduled for May 1st, and organizers are calling for that day to be a total strike and boycott of all goods and services.
Meanwhile, hundreds of Christians and dozens of churches in Iowa joined together on Palm Sunday to say no to authoritarianism. The main message of the event was for participants to stand against those they believe are threatening democracy in the U.S. It was through the Standing With Our Neighbors project of the Interfaith Alliance of Iowa, which is a movement based on their values, which are shaped by Christian belief.
We have seen so much hate and authoritarianism in our country that this group of folks wanted to get together. There was a group of churches that came together and said that we just want to stand with our neighbors and make sure that we are caring for our neighbors.
It was one of more than 30 events that happened across 17 states, including here in Des Moines and Iowa City.
It's now 5:04, and we are now officially 1 month into the war in Iran, and President Trump is still not ruling out a ground invasion. The first U.S. ground troops arrived overnight. 3,500 sailors and Marines from the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, equipped with transport and strike fighter aircraft and amphibious assault capabilities. A second Marine unit is expected to arrive in the region in May. President Trump says that negotiations with Iran are underway, but to also lower expectations.
I would only say that we're doing extremely well in that negotiation. But you never know with Iran, because we negotiate with them and then we always have to blow them up.
Now, Pakistan has announced it will act as a neutral ground for both sides to negotiate, though neither the U.S. nor Iran has confirmed this. And here's a look at where our gas prices stand as the war continues. AAA now reporting the average price in our state has dropped to $3.29 per gallon, but the national average has stayed steady at $3.98.
The Iowa National Guard confirmed the next group of soldiers assigned to the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 34th Infantry Division, are on their way home from the Middle East. The Guard says more than 200 soldiers are safely back in the U.S., and these soldiers were deployed in support of Operation Inherent Resolve. Right now, more than 500 Iowa National Guard soldiers are still in the Middle East. The Guard is planning 2 welcome home ceremonies in Cedar Rapids to honor the returning soldiers. Details on those will come at later dates.
Right now, the Iowa DOT is warning people of recent text scams. The DOT says these messages appear to come from Iowa DOT or the DMV. They say that the scams are targeting people with false claims of unpaid traffic violations, tolls, or registration fees. The DOT says it will not send out fee collection reminders via text, and if you have received these types of messages, you should report it as spam, block the number, and delete the message.
New data shows Dallas County is not only the fastest growing county in Iowa, but also the entire Midwest. The U.S. Census Bureau says about 18,000 new residents moved in over a recent 5-year span, with Waukee showing the biggest population spike. The county also ranks just outside of the top 50 across the nation. Also, the Des Moines Metro as a whole ranks as the fastest growing metro in the Midwest. It's now 5:07, and a club over in Ames is celebrating a special anniversary.
Yeah, this is pretty cool here. The Serendipity Book Club has been meeting for 90 years now. That's crazy. You know, they are still going strong with 14 members. When it started back in 1936, members had to be associated with Iowa State University, whether that was working there themselves or their husbands did. That no longer is a rule, and anyone can join now. But something that hasn't changed is the group has met every fourth Wednesday of the month for the whole book club, and they all take turns gathering everyone at their house. Something interesting about Serendipity, though, is that the members don't actually have to read the books that they're talking about. Every meeting, there will be 1 or 2 reports.
Unlike some book clubs, we don't just report on the book. The focus is supposed to be on the author. Inevitably, of course, you talk about the book as well, but the focus is supposed to be on the author of the book.
And because they keep lots of stuff documented, they have a list of the very first books picked out for the club. That includes Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell, Mexican Interlude by Joseph H. Jackson, and Eggs and Baker by John Maysville. Pretty interesting.
Very cool. Love to see that. Well, over the weekend, people in Des Moines came together to fight cardiovascular disease, one of the leading causes of death. It was at the Greater Des Moines Heart Ball, and organizers and donors celebrated a year of fundraising for the American Heart Association.
We've been focused on food insecurity and the 385,000 Iowans that are food insecure every day across all 99 counties. Food insecurity in particular has an impact on heart disease, and that's why we focused on that this year.
And it was a great event out there. I know Chase and I emceed that event. We had a very fun time up there talking with everybody. It was all for a great cause too, so no shortage of fun over the weekend.
An absolute blast, beautiful event. Everything was top notch.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they even had the Hawkeye game on.
Yeah.
So everybody got kind of everything at that event.